Now it's time to take a look at actually using the command line in the interactive shell. We're only going to briefly look at the command line just now, because all we need it to do at the moment is to start up Python. Then we're going to take a longer look at the Python interactive shell, and then we'll see as we're working, hopefully, and then as we're working, we'll see what we gain by using these interfaces. Text-based interfaces are not much to look at, but they're highly useful to programmers. They provide a quick and easy way to interact with programs while they're in development, experiment with code, which is, after all, text, and access documentation. How you open a command line window depends on the operating system you're using. On Windows 7, open the Start menu and type CMD into the Run box. On Windows 8, press the Window key and then type CMD, hit Enter. On Mac OS X, run Applications, Utilities, Terminal. On Linux or other Unix-style operating systems, the precise mechanism for opening a command line window varies, but they all have the ability to do it and display it rather prominently. Look for the words Xterm, Terminal, or Shell. Now that we've got a command line, we're going to go straight into the Python interactive shell. We type that by typing Python into the command line window. If we have multiple versions of Python installed, and we want to interact with a specific version, we can explicitly choose the version we want from the command line by typing the version's name with a version number. For example, if we type Python 3, we'll explicitly start up some version of Python 3.x. Here's where the fun really starts. When we see that triple greater than prompt, we can type in any Python expression or statement and see the result immediately. That's incredibly useful because it means we don't have to remember every detail about how specific functions work, what class members are called, which exceptions are raised under which circumstances, and so on. Whenever we're unsure about something, we can just open up an interactive shell and find out. So, for example, let's imagine we're working on an application that uses Python's set data type. And we're unsure about what exception gets raised when we try to add a set to itself. We could go digging through the documentation, but it's quicker and easier just to create a set in the interactive shell and try adding it to itself. Right away, the system tells us that adding a set to itself raises a type error exception. Sometimes running a quick experiment in the interactive shell is absolutely the fastest way to get the information we want. But documentation is nice too. Fortunately, Python has a very good documentation system that we can access straight from the interactive shell by calling the help function. We can pass any object as the parameter of the help function, and it will print out that object's documentation for us. So, if we want to find out about the functools.wraps function, we just pass it to help and read all about it. The help function can also take the name of the object you want to read about instead of the object itself. That can save us the time of typing the import statement in the interactive shell. The difference is that the parameter is a string, not an expression, that evaluates to the object we're interested in. However, since it's a string that generally contains that same expression, the difference is just whether you want to put quote marks around it or actually import the thing. So, the operating system command line gives us easy access to Python and to our own programs written in Python. The interactive shell is a great way to perform experiments, and it also provides us with access to Python's built-in documentation system. In the next video, we're going to look at another command line tool called pip, which allows us to install and update third-party code libraries and programs.